Hello to all of my lovelies. Welcome back to another weekly pick a card reading. I do want to remind you all that I now offer memberships to my channel, which give you some additional perks. If you're interested in that, click on the join button on my channel page and it will give you all of the details to that stuff. But let's get into today's pick a card reading. So this should be fun. We're going to take a look at your next living situation. What will your next home be like? What will its energy be like? What are the circumstances that will be surrounding you? And even some details, hopefully, about what it's going to look like, what sort of colors will be present, the size, the location, that sort of stuff. So this should be exciting, and hopefully it will help give you some inspiration. And I've also requested that Spirit give you any guidance that's needed, or give you information that maybe you need to know about before moving. So this should be a lot of fun. So here in a bit, I'm going to flash an image of the 5 piles that we have today. Each pile has a doorway on the front. So I want you to quiet your mind, try and tap into which doorway feels closest to the energy of your future home, your next living situation. All right, and timestamps will be down below. So I'm gonna let you guys get to it, and I will see you at your pile. Bye, my love. Hey group 1, welcome to your reading. Let's find out what house or living situation, apartments, whatever you are going to be in next, and what all Spirit wants you to know about that, and what sort of details Spirit would like to give to you. Hopefully you guys have a snack or a drink or sitting somewhere comfortable where you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy this little peek into your future. So let's start by taking a look at the card topper you all gravitated towards. This one comes out a lot when I use this deck. You'll notice it's got the moon peeking out through this gateway. And on the back of the card, it says, "Draw down the moon. The forest nymphs dance in sheer delight, singing soft songs. Find us in the wild. Good night." So I'm already feeling like your next living situation is going to be located in a place that really lights up at night. So for some of you, it could be city scenery in a really cool city that's got a lot of lights and activity going on in the evening time, and it's quieter during the day or a little bit more dull. For others of you, it could be some sort of secluded scenery where, because of the lack of city lights and lighting going on, and smog and that sort of thing, you really get a clear view of the skies at nighttime, and maybe there are fireflies and the sounds of different animals, and it's more quiet during the day, but then at nighttime everything kind of comes alive. So you get a chance in your new living space to really connect with the nighttime. So that sounds kind of cool and interesting. Maybe for some of you, this new place that you're living at will kind of accommodate your work schedule. For some of you, you could be moving into a different line of work that does require that you're working more in the evening time, nighttime. So maybe you're awake at night and asleep during the day. So maybe some of you are like bartenders, waiters, waitresses, who knows? There's a lot of jobs that kind of require that you're out and about and working more in the evening time. So that could be another scenario that Spirit wants to talk about, some sort of new job or industry that's going to lead you to this new place of residence. So let's take a look at the tarot cards. All right, we have 7 of Wands. Ooh, 2 sevens, and 7 of Pentacles. Page of Cups. This is water energy, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And then 6 of Cups. This was actually in reverse, okay? So 6 of Cups being in reverse signifies moving away from what you've known. So this is not about going back and revisiting or moving to somewhere you've already encountered or lived in the past, like childhood home or town that you grew up in. No, this is about actually expanding your horizons and maybe moving away or at a distance from the family and friends that you've always known and been comfortable with, and getting somewhere new, some sort of new environment. Now, 2 sevens did come up. 7 is spiritually ruled by the planet of Neptune, and Neptune is about fantasy and illusion and spirituality as well. Some of you, I'm getting like entertainment sort of vibes. So your line of work is meant to be something that is at the service of others, but in a way where you have to present yourself in such a way that makes them leave feeling better than when they entered. So it's like some aspect of your personality comes into play where it's like, no, I've got to uplift them. I've got to make jokes. I've got to smile. I need to put them in a good mood, more than just like a transactional sort of job where, yeah, you're providing a service, but it doesn't necessarily matter, whether or not they get to know you or what sort of vibe you're getting off, like giving off to them. You're just there to like process the transaction. This is more, it's got an emotional element to it where you are going to be exciting people or making people laugh, or like entertaining in some form, okay? Now, both of these cards are about patience, a level of patience that is required for what you are doing. Okay, so first of all, I do feel that in your next living situation, there is going to be an element of competitiveness in the market that you're trying to get into. All right, so that could feel frustrating at first. In fact, the first couple places that you initially gravitate towards or put in an offer for fall through, because other people are making higher offers, or maybe the landlord backs out at the last second. Okay, so that's important to know. I'm also hearing from Spirit that they want you to go ahead and prep your, is this a thing, but like a resume as a renter? Okay, so if you have any unpaid rental dues that are on your credit, that needs to be eliminated immediately. The current place that you are staying at or living at, you want to make sure that you leave on a good note, okay? So clean everything really well, fix any damage that's been done, even if it's on the landlord's end of things, like it's really their fault. Like go above and beyond to just make sure that you leave on good terms. Because that could affect your ability to rent in the future. And especially if you're wanting to go to somewhere with a more competitive market, that could have an effect. Okay, you want to be a step above everyone else. Now, if this is about purchasing a home, then right now is the time to really start building up credit score and building up that savings account. Because if you go to make an offer on a home and there's a lot of offers coming in, typically these sellers are going to look at, they've got multiple choices and they don't want this deal to fall through. So they're going to pick the person with the best credit score, the best offer, and the best, down payment. Okay, so Spirit's like, make sure that you really work on those things so that you can get into the next living situation, ideally in the way that you want it, and you're not going to have to settle. Now, the other thing here is 7 of Pentacles. This is also about patience, but it's about putting in the work and effort and that sort of waiting period that comes afterwards, where you're just waiting to finally get the benefits of the fruit that you have started growing in this soil. Like the plants and the leaves are growing, but the fruit's not here yet. So right now it's just a waiting game. I've got to keep tending to the garden, and eventually I will see the fruits of this labor. So I do feel like the living situation you're going to be in, it will be ideal in terms of location. It's going to be exactly where you want to be. It's going to be convenient for you. Like I'm seeing a convenience in terms of driving. In fact, some of you will actually be able to walk to wherever it is you work, during the day or the evenings, whatever. It's going to be a location that really works for your schedule, and will make sure that you are eliminating a lot of driving time or walking time from your day, okay? So you're going to love that because it's going to be kind of conveniently located around your life, whatever that is, So, but I'm seeing that when you initially move in, everything's not going to be perfect. You're going to kind of move into a place where there is some work that you want to put into it, especially in terms of the decor and the furniture and maybe painting and updating light fixtures. Nothing major, but it almost feels like you're not going to have enough saved up to do everything all at once as soon as you move in. So you're going to move in keeping that vision in mind of what you're hoping it will become, and slowly working towards it so that you don't get yourself into a bunch of debt in order to do this or whatever. So there's going to be an amount of patience required on your end when moving in, but I feel like you're going to know that. It's like you know that. You see the potential in this property. And so, yeah, that's kind of why you chose it, because you do want to put your own touch or elements into it to make it feel like a home. But Spirit's saying like it is going to be, you know, a longer process. This isn't going to be something that you want to go out and buy and do everything all at once. Okay, so be patient with it. Now, with the Page of Cups, there could be a water sign in your life that is going to be living with you. Could be a kid, because we've got this younger energy, or it could be some sort of roommate, or this could be representing an element of yourself. The energy I'm getting off of the cards is kind of this naivety and curiosity, and maybe a little bit of immaturity as well. Okay, if this is a part of you, then this part of you is going to be very excited about this next home. But I think that's where this comes into play, because after moving in, the more adult side of you is going to feel like, what the heck did I get myself into? I don't know if I want to do this. But I'm hearing from Spirit like, no, this is good. Okay, the patience is required, but this is good because there's this inner child element that is being awakened and kind of lit up by this home and this living place, like this location that you're at, that I think is really good for you. And it kind of sparks, actually, this your next living situation is going to spark a lot of your own creativity and self-expression and individuality. But there's going to be this kind of back and forth balance between that younger, lighthearted, childlike energy and then the adult energy that's like, well, but this has to be done and this needs to be done the correct way. So a nice balance. So that balance could be created through you if these are two parts of you, or perhaps it's your child that's bringing this younger energy in and like just absolutely loves this place and is excited, and you're the one that's like, okay, yeah, but this, you know, we got to put some work in. This is going to be a lot of long nights for mom and dad. Or maybe it's your partner that's like, this is just, don't you see all the potential? Don't you, you know what, there's like this dreamer around you or within you that is excited and enthralled by the idea of living at this place. And then there's the more adult, realistic side of you that's like, okay, but seriously, let me crunch the numbers. Like this could be some work. Is this something I want to deal with? But I do see that ultimately you are going to decide to go for it, specifically because you want to be at a place that's in a good location, ideal for you in location, as well as a place that you can kind of put your own touch on, in a sense. So even if this is a rental, then the decor pieces that you pick, and you may even be asking the landlord, hey, is it okay if I update light fixtures, or if I put, you know, if I color the walls, or, you know, things like that. So I like that. I'm getting an older vibe from the home. So a home that's got some older or kind of cool or quirky architectural elements to it. Okay, so maybe there's some crown molding or original wood floors, or yeah, something like that. The home feels older, or even if it's an apartment, it feels older. Okay, so it's going to have some character and some charm, but it is going to need some work. Okay, so let's look at some of the card toppers here, or not card toppers, but the oracle cards that went with your pile. So we do have a stone card, and this stone is called azurite. It says, who needs it? The materialistic, vain, and always craving. That's not a judgment. That's almost all of us. And then it says Leos especially. It says at the bottom, explore your hidden depths. Interesting. It's when to use it. When material pleasures aren't giving you the buzz they used to. When it's time to take a break from snapping selfies and chasing shiny things. You can shake off shallowness. Start with your breath, then dive into the deep. End with azurite. Goes so well with the moon card and the page card. So yeah, and the older vibes that I'm getting. So this feels like this new home is going to be a big shift for you in terms of maybe always gravitating towards the things that are shiny and new and on trend, and more about, okay, but what are my friends and family going to think of this place? Like choosing a place based on that. And this time it's like, you know what? I'm going to pick a place that I see potential in, that I love, and I want to get away from, you know, the things that really attach me to the material, and start getting more down to the depths, you know, what feels well emotionally, and what connects to me as an individual versus who cares how other people view it. So that's going to be a big deciding factor in this shift, which I think is going to be good for you. You know, we have the moon card here that was the topper, that talks about our internal well-being, our emotional health, our mental health. So it feels like this home is really going to cater to that for you. It's going to represent the most vulnerable parts of you, the parts of you that maybe you've been scared of others judging, that you hide because you feel like it's a flaw. This home's going to be decorated in a way that reflects the the more vulnerable parts of yourself and rebuilding those things, getting them stronger. Okay, so it's interesting. It's going to be almost a therapeutic process for you as you are updating this home and making changes, because there is a fragility to this home because of its age. Okay, and things need to be taken care of. You know, there's maintenance involved. It's not brand new out of the box. And as you're performing this maintenance and updating things, it's almost going to feel like therapeutic and metaphorical in that you're doing it for yourself as well internally. Does that make sense? Turning these flaws and these negatives and these pain or trigger points into something beautiful and pouring that self-love into the home and back towards yourself. So interesting, interesting message there. I actually want to take a roll of the die. We usually do that at the beginning, but I'll do it now before I get into the rest of the cards, okay? Maybe we'll get some more details. Okay, we have Sun in Cancer in the 8th house. So Cancer, more water energy. The 8th house is typically ruled by Scorpio. Azurite had a shout out to the Leos, which the Sun is ruled by Leo. So the 8th house it's a hidden house, and it's deeply psychological, and it represents death and rebirth and transformation. So that's really cool for you guys and what this house represents. This house caters to your ego, rebuilding your own ego and sense of self outside of, hidden away in that 8th house, outside of what others think or feel, or their opinions. This is about, no, but what do I want? Where do I want to shine my sun on a daily basis? What house, what place gives me the greatest ability to self-express, to dive into my own sense of self-expression? Cancer here is a very nurturing sign. It's the sign of the mother, okay? So, and a family and home. So this is going to be a home that's very personal to you. For some of you, your next home actually will be your sort of forever situation. For all of you, even if this home is a temporary thing, a rental, the energy that you carried into this place and why you chose it, and that's going to carry into everywhere that you live in the future. This is about reprioritizing from material to spiritual, from external to internal. So that's really beautiful. Okay, now let's look at some of the other oracle cards. All right, we have this card here, and it represents the crown chakra, speaking of spirituality and the spiritual self. That's exactly what the crown chakra rules. It's the chakra that is closest to the heavens, to source. It sits right up here. Okay, the back of this card says peace. In stillness, the answer will be revealed. All right, let's look at this one. Okay, we have openness. We have the cat, more Leo energy. It's time to strike out on your own and relinquish your overdependency on others. Yes, I'm already getting a lot of great messages. All right, we have the harmony card. It says, I know in my heart that when something is right, it feels easy and breezy, even though that sounds cheesy. With this in mind, I banish all stress, insecurity, and tedious work from my relationships. Then I invite harmonious relationships into my life and let them show up on their own time. Easy breezy things are rarely punctual. Goes really well with the peace card, right? And then we have the owl moon totem card. A crisis will allow you to look into yourself and make an important revelation. And this crisis they're talking about has to do with this realization that so much of what you do is focused around getting that approval or applause from those around you or those online or whatever, and not from actually yourself. The harmony card and the peace card are giving me this vibe that if you had roommates prior to this, I don't feel like you're going to be in a roommate situation. Or if you do have a roommate, it's going to be like a romantic partner, or like I said, your own kids, or maybe I don't see more than one roommate, okay? If you have a family, that's different. Obviously, the whole family unit moves with you. But in terms of roommate, I don't see more than one, if that, being with you. This living space feels very private, very peaceful, very harmonious. I'm not seeing that this is a place where a lot of partying is going to be going on. This really feels like it caters to you and your need to rest, relax, and get in touch with yourself, becoming a little bit more open with your own, like coming to terms with your own vulnerabilities and insecurities. this is what this is going to heal. And we have the cat card too, which says it's time to strike out on your own, relinquish dependency on others. Some of you feel like you have to be in a living situation with someone else because, oh, well, I wouldn't be able to afford that, or maybe I get scared sleeping alone at night, so I want to have the roommates there, or whatever. This new living situation is going to really empower you because it's going to be where you confront that fear of, I don't think I can do it on my own. Can I do it on my own? You're going to confront that fear head on and finally deal with it and realize that that's not true. Okay, so yeah, this home's going to be, for some of you, there's a lot of water elements going on inside of the home. Like I feel like the bathroom's going to be a highlighted space for you. Maybe it'll be larger than some of the other bathrooms in other homes that you're looking at, because I see like a tub or a shower or something. It feels really beautiful in the bathroom area. That's going to be your like meditation space. You know, that's, you're going to take your showers and your baths, and it's going to be like a whole experience in there for you, which is good because that water helps you get in touch with your emotions. But it feels very quiet. This home does, very quiet and peaceful. And yeah, and I feel like this is going to be a home where you really stay up late into the night in this home and get to experience the nighttime in this home. And for some reason, that's going to be significant to you, like kind of being able to, you know how sometimes if we stay up really, really late at night, if any of you guys have ever done this, the coolest thing about that is you suddenly feel like, am I the only person awake? You know, is the world asleep? Is everyone asleep besides me? There's something very isolating about that experience of being up at 4 in the morning. You know, you tap into a different part of yourself and a different part of an experience of the world, you know, a new perspective. So yeah, all this stuff's going to be going on. So I'm really, really excited for you. Let me know what you think down below. Is this the type of home that you've been dreaming of or hoping you would end up in? And yeah, do those little things that Spirit touched on in the beginning to help you prepare for this new experience. This isn't just a new home. This is going to be a new you through this brand new living situation to come in the future. So best of luck to you. I want to thank you guys for coming. I look forward to seeing you in next week's Pick a Card reading. But until then, bye-bye, my love. Hey group 2, welcome to your reading. Let's find out what your next living situation is going to look like, what the home will be like. All right, maybe location and some details about the decor and everything else. So let's start by taking a look at the card topper, the doorway that you all gravitated towards. And you'll notice that right in front of this doorway is water, like a river is running in front of it, which is interesting. The back of the card says distant dream. The distance calls your heart to roam free. As you dare dream it, so must it be. So it feels like your next living situation is going to be part of some sort of dream fulfillment for you. There's a place that you've always dreamt about living, whether that be location-wise, like a different town, city, state, country, or it could even be like the type or style of house or apartment that you've always wanted to be in, but you felt like, well, that's out of reach, or that's impractical, or that's never going to happen, or maybe it'll happen once I'm, you know, old and retired, but not now. Somehow this next living situation is going to bring you in touch with a lifelong dream of yours that is becoming a reality in terms of your home and where you live. So very, very cool. Okay, before I get into the tarot cards, I do want to take a roll of the die and see what the die has to say. All right, we have the North Node in Capricorn in the 4th house. North Node is about getting out of our comfort zone, getting in touch with the things that we've always been obsessed with, but have always felt so out of reach. So again, tying back into that card of that sort of dream. So that sort of home you've always wanted to be in, or that place you've always wanted to live, like you're making it a reality this time around. The 4th house represents our home life, our private life. Capricorn represents working towards something, like accomplishing a goal, doing something that takes a lot of discipline, a lot of duty, a lot of hard work, but building upon that, like creating some sort of a legacy out of that. So for some of you, your next living situation is going to be your permanent living situation. Like this is where you are going to stay for the rest of your life. But for all of you, this is going to be, even though dreams seem like this impractical sort of thing, what you need to do in order to get to that dream and reach that goal, like make it a reality, are realistic sort of steps, checklists, things that need to be done, work that needs to go into it. So I feel like that's kind of what Spirit's wanting to tell you. Like, even though this seems so far off, so distant, you can get closer to that and finally reach it, but you have to take the practical steps it takes to get there. So Spirit doesn't want you to waste this dream of this this place you've always wanted to live, or the type of home you've always wanted to have. You can do practical, mundane sort of things in order to reach it. And maybe we'll get more details of that as we get into the rest of the cards. So let's take a look at the tarot. All right, we have Nine of Swords, Queen of Wands. This is fire energy, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We have Temperance. This is Sagittarius energy. And then we have Four of Cups. Oh, wow. Okay. So we've got these two really bright, powerful, optimistic cards smack dab in the middle of these two very apathetic, anxious, sad, depressed sort of cards. What the heck is going on, you guys? A lot of you guys have been struggling through some sort of depression or stress or turmoil in your personal life. A lot of it, I think, does have to do with the home you're at currently. Your living space currently is not good for your mental health. Okay, so it's time to get you back on your throne, get you back to that confident person that you are, that empowered person that you are. For some of you, it's like you're currently living with someone else, like maybe a family member or a friend that's allowed you to like stay somewhere for free. Like, go ahead and move in. You can sleep on my couch, or I've got a spare bedroom. Don't worry about paying anything or paying much. And I think you needed that at the time that it was offered, but it's like the stay feels like it's gone past due. And there could be some tensions that have risen due to that, but even if there's no tension on that person's end that's offered their home to you, it feels like this is actually eroding your own ego. You're forgetting your own power to pick yourself back up, to create something for yourself, and to make things happen. So even though it's interesting, there's this back and forth of, okay, but this is nice because it eliminates a lot of stresses for me. There's this other side of you that feels like it's eroding, like you're becoming insecure about it on some level, like you're feeling not proud of yourself or something like that is going on. For others of you, it could just be like a really bad situation with roommates that's stressing you the F out. You're paying your equal share of everything, but just the situation itself, the living situation isn't good. So there is a healing that needs to happen. And I do feel that you've got to get out of this current living situation in order to really begin that healing process, I think. So you're going to have to make some changes, even though you're insecure and fearful. Push through it in order to make some changes and get yourself out of this sort of comfort zone you're in of just, I'll just deal with it. Okay, no, it's time to actually dream again, create some visions for yourself, and create the home life that you deserve and that you know that you want deep down. The other thing I see here is that the next living situation, the next home that you're supposed to be at, could pass you by if you don't keep your eyes peeled. Okay, so Spirit's saying don't miss this opportunity. Okay, someone could actually be offering. I feel like the next living situation is still going to be connected to someone that you know or are related to. This isn't going to be you going online and looking for homes for rent or homes for sale. This is going to be through, I don't know, like maybe you find out that a friend is selling their home, or a friend's uncle, just listed their property, or something like that. Someone that you know that has property, or even if you know them but know them distantly, or they're more of an acquaintance, it's connected somehow through that, and you're going to learn about this opportunity, this place to live, through like word of mouth, or people kind of talking, or maybe someone actually making an offer to you, like, hey, I've heard that you've been looking for a place to live for a while. I've just listed blah blah blah, or my place is up for rent. Or I am actually needing a house sitter, like I'm going to actually move out of state for the next year, but I'm not ready to sell my home, so I would like to get a renter in there, and since I know you, I'd feel more comfortable with that. For some of you, it could be something like that. And then you end up buying it later on, so you rent for a while and then end up buying it. Okay, so for some of you, you're going to be going back to like a childhood home, a place that you lived at in childhood. Maybe the family moved out and the opportunity comes back up to buy it through whoever bought it from them. Because I am feeling with the fourth house and the Capricorn energy, some sort of familiarity with this whole situation. Even though this dream you're creating through it is a dream that you really thought was too far-fetched to ever actually make happen, you're going to be able to make it happen. But Spirit is very concerned about your mental health in this current living situation and wants you to do something about that, okay, to start that healing process, all right? Okay, let's look at some of the other card toppers. So we have this stone from my stone deck, and this is muscovite. It says, who needs it? The pragmatic, empirical, and reasonable. Anyone who has ever asked themselves, how did I not see that coming? When to use it? When I want to believe is your MO. When you feel like you've been missing the signs. When you have a problem that logic won't solve. When you've blown the lid off with too much meditation, microdosing, or moldavite and need to get a grip. And then it says at the bottom, develop your foresight, okay? For a lot of you, your foresight, which is about being able to look into the future, is completely crowded up, blocked, fogged by this sort of anxious, anxiety-ridden energy or sadness or depression. It makes it very hard to dream. And it makes it very hard for you to stay in reality, to remind yourself that, look, it's not always worst case scenario. I can't stop myself from moving due to all these fears. Like I've got to make a move and make some changes. And what the card also mentioned, which ties in well with the temperance, is for some of you, this sort of reset in your home life has to do with your health and wellness. You know, maybe too much drinking's going on, too much partying, too many drugs, or maybe it's just the actual food that you're eating and the sleeping habits, and everything feels very off kilter and out of balance, and it's eroding your confidence and your sense of self. It's making your identity feel kind of diminished, okay? I feel like you're dimming your light through this lack of self-care, all right? So develop your foresight, like the muscovite card says, and yeah, you know, get back to actually being able to believe in not only yourself, but in life in general, to take care of you, to look out for you, to be able to create the results that you want to see if you put in the work, all right? And you'll be able to get to this home. So yeah, the home is feeling connected in some way to the past, maybe a dream you've always had since childhood, or through someone that you know, even if it's like distantly, or an old childhood home that you somehow get an opportunity to return to. Something about the past and childhood is connected here with the home, okay? Or acquaintances or something like that. But also, this is like the type of home or a dream that you've always wanted to have, but thought, well, that's just not possible for me. Okay, let's look at the next card. All right, this card here is represented by the crown chakra, which is the chakra closest to the heavens and most tied to our spiritual self, our higher self. And it says here, oneness. You are part of the universe and always will be. All right, then we have acceptance. From the animal deck, we have the camel. Trust that you have the resources to get through the challenges before you. Yes. Then we have my best self. I trust that when I'm doing what's best for me and being the happiest version of myself, the right sorts of relationships will appear in my life. That means I can let go of all my worries about the future, knowing that my only job is to be happy in this moment, while simultaneously attaining a cosmic level of enlightened awareness and total psychological self-actualization. Ah. And then from the moon deck, we have, wow, moon in Sagittarius, more Sagittarius energy. Be prepared to be adaptable, as plans you have laid may take an unexpected course. All right, so with the oneness and the acceptance, my best self, this feels like, first of all, this new living situation is going to help you get back to your roots, the roots of who you are, what you like, what you enjoy, and like ground you and help you deepen your own roots into the earth. So this is going to be a place that is well within budget. I actually feel like for some of you, it's going to be even below budget, even though this is going to be some sort of dream of yours. Like for some of you, you're going to actually purchase a plot of land and build some sort of tiny home, step by step, save and buy all the pieces and watch all the tutorials, live in like maybe a little trailer in the meantime, but have your plot of land. And maybe that land comes through family or inheritance or something. And we also have with the oneness and the acceptance here, there is something that is blocking you from this vision because you haven't forgiven or accepted something about your own past. I feel like right now you're stuck in a rut of trying to redo the past, fix the past. It's almost like your inner child is guiding you. So either, I don't know, there's some sort of a toxic situation or relationship that actually relates to a similar experience from your past that you're hoping you can fix and correct and redo by acting it out again through this other person. And it's just gotten to a point where it's not healthy. And Spirit's wanting you to accept the situation for what it is and focus on just being the best version of you that you can be. Okay, so I do see children, all right, around you in this next living situation. And I don't know if that's like, for some of you, there's like almost homeschooling or teaching or babysitting or daycare or something with kids is going on, or it could just be your own kids. But some of you are going to have a home that has a space specifically designed around teaching. So I don't know if that relates to something you all do for a living, but I see kind of a nice little library sort of setup and table or desks with tools for working and learning. So I like that. Maybe that'll be some sort of side business sort of thing that you work on. And the other thing too is in this, be prepared to be adaptable. Yeah, it feels like there's almost going to have to be a jump from after the place you're at now. There is a temporary living situation, but it's very temporary, very short. And then you get to this place that I'm talking about. So Spirit's almost kind of lumping in both into one reading, because one is really like you go into it knowing it's extremely temporary. And you're there and you're saving up resources for this thing, like waiting for this opportunity to come up or to start building on something. A lot of you actually will be building your next home, or maybe this home, especially if it's connected to family and past, is just dilapidated and needs a lot of work. But I'm seeing land. Okay, this doesn't feel like a city situation or even in the center of town. This feels like it's got a lot of land that it's on. Okay, and again, I'm seeing lots of children around too, which is interesting because some of them almost feel spiritual. I know that sounds really weird, but some of them feel spiritual, like spiritual children, maybe guardians of some sort, or children that were lost, okay? But they're just flocking to this area that you'll be living at next. And maybe that has to do a lot with maybe for some of you, you're grieving the loss of a child, okay? And that could have to do with this acceptance and this oneness. The oneness and the crown chakra talks a lot about us being able to tap into our spiritual self and spirituality in general, and realizing that we are all connected and there is no true separation between us and another, or us and someone who's in the spiritual realm, God or angels, deceased loved ones. So yeah, so I see a lot of land. I also see a lot of beige tones, or beige or sandy or like camel colors, kind of like the camel, light browns, all right, a lot of that going on, woods. There's a lot of warmth, okay, in this home. And yeah, just a lot of shades of kind of the earth, all right? So even for some of you, like Tuscany sort of vibes, or dusty rose colors and deep, deep maroons or oranges, or like desert colors, all right? I see a lot of that, a lot of warmth going on in this home. And other than the children that are with you, or the spiritual children that are with you, or maybe a partner, I'm not seeing like roommates, like friends that are living there or anything like that. And the space feels small too, okay? It feels like it's like just enough for you and your family or the people who live with you. It feels just enough. There's nothing that feels exaggerated. It doesn't feel like there's too much or too little. It's like this perfect, quaint little space that has all the necessary parts, but isn't in excess, right? So it's not, 10,000 square feet or something. It feels there's this quaintness to it because it's almost just the right size. kind of like that phrase, like it fits like a glove, you know, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. And I like the tones because they're very warm and sandy, and I see land. Okay, I don't see beach or even water. I'm just seeing like pure land that this home is on. So a pretty good sized backyard, or a nice sized amount of acreage, for sure. And then a lot more time spent in this home as well, because I think for some of you, there's going to be some element of working from home in this new space that you're going to be able to accomplish, and a lot of healing going on in this next home as well. Okay, so right now what Spirit wants you to work on is healing yourself, grieving, mourning some things, having acceptance for some things, tapping back into your more spiritual side, turning to prayer and connection to the divine in those weak moments, and getting a little bit more independence, because for you, you really need that to feel good about yourself, this sense of independence. Okay, keep your eyes peeled for the opportunity that's going to come. I don't feel that this is a home that you're going to have to go out searching for, like I said, online. This is going to be kind of it's going to be a chance occurrence, you know, like a weird coincidence. It's going to come for you when you aren't necessarily looking for it. So right now, focus on that healing. Okay, healing and believing in this dream that I'm going to have my ideal home space, and what can I do to help get me there? Save, or whatever it is. Savings, I think, would be good for you for sure. Okay, so best of luck to you. Let me know down below what you thought about the home that I described for you, the living situation I described, as well as what you're going through currently. Okay, I would love to know your thoughts, and I look forward to seeing you in next week's Pick a Card reading. So I'll leave you there. Bye, my love. Hey Pile 3, welcome to your reading. I can't wait to find out what your next living situation or home will be like. I do want to say before I get started on the piles that as I was laying out the cards, a song randomly popped into my head, and I haven't heard this song in years. It was never even like a major favorite song of mine. I think it came out in like 2016, and sometimes Spirit will pop a random song like that into my head if it ties into the overall message of the pile, or it's lyrics that they want you to look up and read. So the song is called Glorious, and it's by Macklemore. Like, I think it came out in 2016, and I don't even know all the lyrics to this song. I know that it's kind of this uplifting message of maybe gratitude and remembering your power. It's an very optimistic sort of song. So that may be something that you want to look up the lyrics to and read through, and kind of think about how the message of that song could apply to your life, or what it is Spirit's wanting to say to you through that song. But okay, let's start by looking at the card topper you all gravitated towards. This card comes up a lot when I use this deck, and it reminds me of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's home, like very minimalist. You know, we've got all this white going on. So I am getting a modern vibe from this pile, even from a couple of the other card toppers. I'll go ahead and show them to you, even though I'm not going to read these yet. But this sort of like clear, shiny quartz looking stone. And then we've got this as well, that's all these rubies and stones. And so there is an element of, yeah, there's a modernness and a extravagance, okay, coming off of this pile. Like a richness, a wealthiness, but kind of like new wealth, new money. So the home may be brand new or close to new, or perhaps that your decor style is going to be quite extravagant, modern looking, sleek, chic, that sort of vibe. So we'll see as we get into the pile, but let me read the back of this card. It says, a moment's joy. Sand through the hourglass, yet time could stand still. A moment lasts forever in the bliss of the heart's will. I love that. So your home feels like it's going to be a place that you really enjoy showing off. I see gatherings, like a housewarming sort of party, maybe certain holidays you host at your place. Like your place seems like, it's the type of place that you want to show off, and it feels quite big too. It feels pretty large. So even if it's an apartment or a condo, it feels large in comparison to the other people in your life. It feels like you've got, in comparison to your circle of friends and family, yours feels a little bit bigger, a little bit nicer than the rest, and it feels very clean. and kept very well. Okay, so I love that for you. Like, you've worked hard and you deserve to live in a place that you feel really proud of and that you want to kind of show off a bit. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of personal touches to the home, like family photos and heirlooms and that sort of thing. This feels more in the direction of buying new things, or like almost like, you have someone come in and professionally design it. Um, the objects and the art and the decor don't feel attached to anything personal. So it's not like you're using the same pieces of furniture that you've had for years or that were given to you by parents. Like, no, this feels all brand new. Okay. And I see a lot of shine, a lot of white, a lot of brightness, and color through the art pieces. Like, the bones of the home feel neutral. So the color on the walls and the carpets, that feels very neutral, but there is color that's brought out maybe through like bright pillows on the couches or bright colors in the artwork. If that, some of you may just be doing like an all white glam sort of thing. Okay, so let's take a roll of the die and then we'll get into the tarot. All right, we have the moon in Cancer in the first house. So for some of you, this is the home where you become a parent in, a mother in, or father, just depending, because the moon rules the sign of Cancer and it's about mother and motherhood. But this is also about our emotions and our home life, our private life as well. And the first house is the house of the self, what we identify as and what we present to the world. So the moon and Cancer, those are very personal placements about our private life. But the first house is about, again, our identity and what we present to others. So the two feel very tied in to one for you. So again, this feels like a place that's really going to be where you show up in the world. Like, you bring people to this space, to your next living space. You're hosting the events. People are getting a peek into your private life. You show people who you are by saying, hey, come to my home. We're doing this, we're doing that. We're having a gathering. I'm having a party. Come get to know me there. Okay, so very interesting. It's like your private life is on display or tied into your identity somehow through your next living situation and home space. For others of you, your next living situation has to do with going back to home, okay, or living with mom. So either mom comes with you and is moving in with you to your new home. Maybe she's in a situation where she needs that, or you are going back to her space and completely renovating it, completely redoing it and living with her there. But again, that's a more specific message that won't apply to all of you. But yeah, the house feels bright, it feels new, it feels fresh, it feels chic. Okay, so let's get into the tarot cards. All right, we have Ace of Wands, Page of Wands. These are both fire energy, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We have Seven of Swords, Eight of Wands, so more fire energy. Dang, you guys. And then we have Four of Pentacles. All right. Okay, yeah, this whole thing's going to happen very quickly, okay? This is all happening very quickly, very rapidly. Some of you, I feel, are going to go into some amount of debt, because it's like you want everything. This is a situation where everything looks completely done the moment that you decide to move in, okay? So all the furniture has been bought, all the decor is hung, like everything's out of boxes. Anything that needs to be purchased or redone, it's like it's all done at once. That's what I'm seeing with this very quick sort of energy. And so what Spirit's wanting to tell you is, look, okay, that's fine, but you've got to make sure that you leave a little bit for savings, and for some of you, you're going to have to kind of penny pinch for a while after moving in because of the amount that you spent to create this home and make it the place that you wanted it to be, okay? So be smart about it. If you need to go into a little bit of debt, what I'm hearing from Spirit is that's okay, as long as you're able to budget and penny pinch for a few months or whatever after to get things back on track, okay? But this happens, look at all this wand energy. This is like such passionate, creative, fast-burning energy. I'm just seeing a lot of excitement, and this is where I want to be, and this is what I'm going to do, and now we're going to go do that, and kind of like lighting a match under your butt, as the phrase says. And also, the Seven of Swords tells me that there's something about the new place that you're living in that not everyone approves of. They don't like the idea of it. Maybe your parents don't want you to spend that much money, or maybe they don't like the location, or maybe it's, I'm not sure what it is, but for a while, you're going to keep this under wraps. So like if this is a brand new home that you're having built, you're not going to tell very many people about it until it's like it's a done deal. Like the paperwork's been signed. This is what's happening. Okay. Because this card is about kind of being sneaky or sly about things, doing things kind of behind the scenes. And the Four of Pentacles is about kind of holding things tightly to the chest, especially if it's something that you care about. So this feels like something that you're manifesting into action. And so you're keeping it private because you don't want outside opinions and judgments to interfere with what you are trying to manifest. So you feel confident in knowing that this is the place you want to live, that this is how much you want to spend, that this is the things that you want to buy, and you do it very quickly, and you keep some of it a secret for a while because you just don't want to hear anyone's negative outside opinions, okay? But after it's built, and it is beautiful and glamorous and modern and contemporary and chic, you host a lot of things there, okay? You host a lot of events at your place, all right? Your home kind of becomes the center, the hub for some, the fun things going on in life, birthday parties and surprise parties and all that sort of stuff. Okay, let's look at some of the other cards. All right, so back to this one, which I already showed you at the beginning. This is actually Tibetan black quartz, even though it's clear, right? All right, who needs it? Metaphysicists, occultists, tantrists, and Sagittarians. Okay, we've got a lot of fire energy, which identifies with or is associated with Sagittarius as well as Aries and Leo. So love seeing that confirmation of it coming up here as well. Sagittarius is all about expansion, like going somewhere new, okay? So again, I'm getting more of this newness, this I want to detach from the past. For some of you, this next home is going to be about this sort of cleansing. Some of you maybe have gone through a breakup or a divorce, or maybe you've switched jobs, or you've experienced a loss of some sort. And so you want to purge and get rid of everything you own that's associated with that negative period in your life. Kind of like how they say that women often, after going through a breakup, they'll chop off their hair because it's like they want to get rid of this hair that was growing on their head or on their head during this darker period. It's like this cleansing, it's a ritual sort of thing. Feels like that's what you do with this home. So it's like anything that was associated with the past self that you no longer want to identify with, you purge, you donate it, you sell it, you're done with it, and then you're bringing in all of this newness. So I love that for you. Okay, when to use it? When you're chasing enlightenment on the meditation cushion and when you're pulling tarot cards. It says at the bottom, light up your spiritual path. So some of you actually, I'm seeing a video setup or a really fancy sort of office setup. So some of you are wanting to work online, or you offer some sort of consultation or some sort of service online in the home. Something where you really want a nice office because for some reason the background and the look of the office has a direct correlation to like being able to get clientele. Like it says something about you, so you're selling yourself. So that's another thing. Some of you are going to have like some sort of glamorous, expensive looking office space in the home that you're doing something out of that people see. So you want the office space to look nice. Okay. So that's not for all of you, but for some of you. Okay. So we have this colorful card here that is associated with all of the chakras. Okay. It says, out of chaos comes creation. Beautiful. It says chakra balance, cycles. Okay, we'll get to the messages on that in a second. I just want to show you the rest of the cards. All right, we have support. We have the kiwi. It says, do a walking meditation each day for the next week. We have an honesty card. This heralds a wonderful time of rooting yourself in complete and total honesty. It might seem scary to tell the truth all the time with everyone about everything, but when you practice radical honesty, you can stop hiding and start relaxing. The best part is, honesty from you inspires honesty from others. What results is a rootin' tootin' trust parade, and everyone's invited except bagpipe players, but you know they'll show up anyway. All right, and then from the moon card, ooh, Moon and Aries. This was the initial energy I was getting from this pile, was Aries energy, even though it's fire in general. It says, remain sensitive to others to avoid confrontation. That sounds like this card, this sort of sneakiness. So there's something about your next home space that you're going to have to kind of do behind the scenes because of hurt feelings. You know, like maybe you have a roommate currently and you guys get along great and they really like living with you, but you just got this dream of having your own space or moving and maybe wanting to be on your own. but you don't want to hurt their feelings. So you're kind of like, let me just work on this in private, and not until I'm sure that this is what's going to happen, I'll let them know and explain to them that it's not on them. So something like that is going to need to happen that spirit wants you to be aware of. Maybe it's you're moving out of your parents' home, and they're like, what? But we want you to stay here. So someone is emotionally attached to you in terms of where you're living. And so it's going to be important to be sensitive to that, okay? Try and be empathetic, but also try and do as much as you can behind the scenes and wait until everything's truly finalized and you know that this is the direction you're going in, that you then let them know, okay? So be careful with that as well. Out of the chaos comes creation. That's again talking about this sort of darker energy that you're in, and you all of a sudden feel like, you know what, I feel new, I feel like a new person, and I'm ready for my home to reflect that. I am cleansing all of this. I'm going to create something new. And then with the support card, and again, I'm feeling a lot of maternal energy, motherly energy here. So for some of you, this space that you're living in, this new home, new living situation, if you're not living with mom, then it's going to be close to mom, or mom's going to be a big support system for you. Maybe it's close enough to where you guys can visit each other throughout the week or help each other with errands or something like that. So there is going to be, some sort of support that comes through mom or through yourself as a mother for those of you who are going to be becoming parents in this new space. And there's a lot of cards talking about spirituality, tarot, Sagittarius energy. So for a lot of you, I feel like that's the direction you're wanting your life to go in. Like, I want to create a YouTube channel where I can be some sort of guide or motivation to others. And so I want my home space to reflect what that looks like, in my opinion, something like that. Some of you are going to have some sort of fountain area outside in the backyard. I do see fencing, okay? So this feels like a newer home. So I see fencing, or if it's a condo or an apartment, I see a nice balcony. Okay, so some sort of fenced in outdoor area. And I see, like a water fountain thing. It feels man-made. Or for some of you, it's a pool or a hot tub or a sauna. And I'm just feel a lot, and lots of just luxurious sort of fabrics and decor that looks expensive, even if it's not necessarily expensive, but and everything feels new. I'm seeing like tags on things being pulled off or, painted over or washed off. And the white feels freshly painted. I feel like there's a lot of white in a lot of the rooms, and it's like fresh paint with no dinginess, with no markings, with no scratches, because everything feels fresh and new. And the honesty card here also feels tied into work life. It feels like this is going to be a new start to your work life. A lot of you, maybe you're graduating college and this is the next place you're going to live. Or a lot of you are starting new businesses, as I've touched on, and Spirit's wanting you to practice honesty first in this moving situation, okay? I understand that some details need to be kept to yourself until it's necessary that they come out in order to be sensitive to others. But keep yourself, how do I want to say this? Keep yourself willing to be honest and vulnerable, and for your home to reflect an honest sense of who you are, and not to be some sort of mask that you're wanting to project onto the world, okay? Because some of you are going to go into this dangerous territory of building a house or a home or a living situation for the sake of how others view it, and not really connecting it back to you and who you are and what you like, okay? Because you can have everything I'm talking about and describing here, this glamorousness and this newness, with it still being connected to you. All right, so that's something else Spirit's wanting you to just be careful with. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you'll end up with a lot of stuff that maybe is super trendy right now, and in a short amount of time, it's going to be outdated. And because you were never really connected to it, you're not going to want to keep it. It's fine to have something that was trendy and is now outdated if it really feels connected to you and your personal style. Then it's like, well, who cares? This is what I like. But if you go after things just because they're trendy, then as soon as they become dated, which sometimes can take less than a year, you're like, why did I spend money on that? Okay, so Spirit's wanting you to be very careful with that in your choices in terms of how you decorate and what you buy for the space, because I do see you going on a big shopping spree for this. But it's going to be beautiful, okay? This is the most glamorous house or living situation I've seen so far out of the 3 piles that I've done. So congrats to you. Congrats to this new version of you that you are birthing through this whole moving process. You deserve it. You earned it. And I would love to see your comments down below. What do you think about what I described? Does this sound in line with who you are and what you've been hoping for? Anyways, I will leave you guys here. I look forward to seeing you in next week's Pick a Card reading. Bye, my love. Hey Group 4, welcome to your reading. I can't wait to take a peek into your future home and living situation, see what Spirit wants to reveal to you about where you're going to be living next. So let's start by taking a look at the card topper, the doorway you all gravitated towards. Beautiful door, this gorgeous plant in front of it. It looks sturdy, it looks strong. So I love the vibe and the energy I'm getting off of this pile just right off the bat. Let's read the back. It says, Morning Memory. Its healing gift runs a destined course, the morning dawn, our inspired source. And it says at the bottom, meditate under the sun. So I see your next living space, your home, having a really great outdoorsy space to it, or where you're able to bring the outdoors in somehow, maybe through a lot of plants, foliage, herbs, pets, animals. Like there's just a lot of life in this next home. It feels very connected to the earth. And I feel that in this home, there's going to be a lot of activity going on during the day, where in one of the other piles, I talked about it being a very nighttime focused space and home. This feels like the house feels most alive in the mornings as the sun is rising. In fact, I feel like you've got a nice view of the sun rising. So the area of the house that you spend the most time in feels like it faces east towards where the sun rises. So you get a lot of beautiful sunrises that you get to see if you wake up early enough. And yeah, I'm seeing a lot of plants and greenery, potted plants as well. And even if the outdoor space is small, I see like a nice little setup, a bench or a chair somewhere that you can drink your morning coffee in and enjoy, or maybe it's even some sort of a sunroom, okay, something like that. All right, so let's take a roll of the die and then we'll look at the tarot. All right, we have Venus and Taurus in the 11th house. Venus rules Taurus, so I love that. I'm getting a lot of feminine energy, okay, off of this home space, this living space. And the 11th house has to do with our friendship circles and groups, the organizations that we are a part of and involved in, the communities we consider ourselves a part of. And Venus rules our value systems, what we value, what we treasure. And Taurus is a very grounded sort of energy that also represents the seasons and cycles of life. You know, we've got spring and summer and winter and fall. So this feels like a home that in a location where you do get to experience and actually see the changing of the seasons, even if it's just through looking outside. For some of you, this could be like, you know, a neighborhood. It doesn't have to be outside of the city. For some of you, it could be. But for all of you, it's in a climate where the weather does change. And I'm seeing a lot of windows, you know, places of opportunities from inside your home where you can actually see the outdoors, what's going on outside with Mother Earth, okay? I'm also seeing with the 11th house that the way you decorate this home is going to be really tied into the communities that you identify with and feel a part of and passionate about. So, you know, maybe, gosh, I don't even know how to explain this, but maybe it's political or religious organizations that you identify strongly with, or beliefs that, you know, maybe if you're someone like me, you've got like tarot cards framed and hanging around the home, or maybe there's certain nonprofits that you're really passionate about, or technology that you're passionate about. It's like the house is going to reflect the things that you're passionate about. For some of you, I'm also seeing that in this next home, you're going to have an adoptive pet or a pet that you've rescued that's going to be an important part of the home for you, okay? But yeah, a lot of feminine energy in terms of beauty, like the style of it and the way you decorate it, and this whole idea of nurturing and fostering growth through plants, through animals, that sort of thing. So this feels like a home that really experiences or taps into the energy of Mother Earth, you know, the caretaker, the nurturer. All right, so it feels very grounded. I really like that. Some of you, if you're going to have a space with a big enough yard, then you'll have a nice garden in the back. Maybe have your own chickens and eggs and things like that. For a lot of you, I don't see a whole lot of yard space, but the yard space that you have, you really decorate. Like that becomes a focal point of the home, actually, is the small outdoor space that you have. Even if it's just a balcony, it's like I see beautiful potted plants, beautiful lighting, maybe even rugs and outdoor seating areas. Like that's going to really be the focal point of this home, as well as the big windows. I see a lot of big windows and this facing towards the east. So rising with the sun in the mornings and getting your day started that way. But let's get into the tarot and maybe we'll get some more details. All right, we have King of Swords. This is air energy. So Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. We have Two of Wands. King of Wands. Interesting. We've got a lot of masculine energy showing up here that contrasts with the die. So King of Wands is fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And then we have the Page of Pentacles, earth energy. So Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Wow. Okay, so it feels like in this next living situation that you are in, I feel like it's going to be located closely to some sort of organization that you are a part of or involved in. I see a lot of you actually pouring your time and energy into volunteering or activism, causes that you care about, certain organizations that you're a part of, but you feel like you're leading the charge in a lot of ways, being at the forefront of it. Some of you maybe are interested in becoming a foster parent or a foster pet parent. For others of you, it's like, well, I volunteer at this charity. I want to be able to be there weekly or create or host events, or this is the church that I go to, so I want to be close enough to be there for events. So your home is located or centered around these sort of things that you care about in life, okay? And that's kind of what you construct and, build things around in your home life, and it goes into choosing where you want to live next, okay? So that becomes a big, big part of it. I do see here in the Two of Wands, first of all, I'm getting once again that you've got this really nice view at your house, your next living space. It's got a really, really nice view of the outdoors or the life around you that I really like. And that even it looks like he's kind of out on this balcony, kind of looking out on the water. Some of you may have a water view of some sort. Maybe this is a house located on a beach or in front of a lake or a river. Not for all of you though, but this house really, there seems to be a good balance here with the feminine and masculine energies. The house feels feminine, but your energy within it seems masculine in the sense that you're actively like doing things out in the world, and you're making things happen, and you are exerting yourself upon the world in some way. And so your house becomes a tool for that, for you accomplishing your highest hopes and wishes, your goals, your dreams, and that sort of thing. I see in the Page of Pentacles for some of you, you're going to be in college, like living in college on a campus in your next living situation. That'll only be for my younger viewers. But for others of you, there is some sort of study space in the home, maybe a library, or maybe you re-enroll like for a master's degree or to get a bachelor's degree online, or you're taking some sort of course, or you're learning something, you're like adding to your resume, your credentials, your assets, your talents, and you have a space in the home that is just specifically for that, for learning things, okay? So love that. Okay, let's look at the rest of the cards. So we have this stone. Isn't that cool looking? It almost looks like coral. Oh, but this is copper. Who needs it? Anyone who needs the proverbial defibrillator paddles. No clue what that is. When to use it? When it's time to pack up an old idea of who you are and ship it out for good. Move on, renewed with copper. And at the bottom it says, energize your whole world. Yeah, look at all this all this masculine energy, which is very energizing. It's very much like, what are we going to do next? What are the plans that we're making? Here's where we're going to do this, and now we're going to do that. So for some of you, this new home there's like parts of yourself that you just haven't had the time or space or freedom to get in touch with. And this move for you is going to help you do that. Kind of like I said before, it becomes a tool for advancement in your life. You know, it's located where you need it to be located. It's in the right climate for you to really thrive and prosper. And you've got a designated space just for you reaching your goals, you know, like some sort of study or office space. It's just for you and goal time, basically, you know, whether that's journaling and meditating and then studying this and reading about that. So really nice. The home feels alive but quiet and peaceful. So, you know, the plants and the animals really help give it this feeling of liveliness, but I don't hear a lot of loud noise. So even if it is in the city, like it's very soundproof, you get a nice view of the outside, but you're not having to hear everything going on outside. So I like that. It feels quiet when you want it to be. I don't see a lot of noise or parties or even a lot of people coming in and out of the space. It feels very focused and peaceful and goal oriented. Okay, I'll say that, I guess. All right. Then we have this card, which is all about the throat chakra, which is here. It says expression. Express your true self. The world needs you. Then we have flexibility. We have the spider. It says trust the creative spark you're feeling and express it through writing stories that inspire and enlighten. Okay, so maybe this designated office space is going to be, well, I know reading and learning and all of that. Maybe some of you are writers, authors, want to start blogs, want to write a book. Okay, so love that. We'll get more into these cards after I flip through all of them. We have solidarity. Look, she's got the cape on. I respect the power of solidarity and look for opportunities to unleash it. When a loved one has to do something tough, I'll heed their often silent but sometimes loud and whiny call and participate in the toughness with them. Everything is easier when a partner, cohort, or sidekick joins you. The only thing that's not easier is feeling resentment, which I suppose is the overall point. And then we have new moon, and it says the time is ripe for seeking new opportunities. Okay, so the solidarity card is again tying in with somehow you becoming very involved with activism or something you're passionate about or believe in and want to get out to the world. And so you design your home, you choose your home in a way that's going to help strengthen that area of your life. Okay, so being in solidarity with others, being a savior for others, or volunteering for something. The spider talks about expressing your feelings, your thoughts, what you're learning through writing stories that inspire and enlighten. Some of you, I think, would be fantastic children's authors. Others of you, you could really do anything with this. Fiction, nonfiction, blogging, doing videos, really whatever. But we have expression here as well. So this is about self-expression, exerting yourself upon the world, making things happen. So although the home feels quiet and peaceful and like your own space, it feels like you're so busy during the day with what you've got going on, you know, job, volunteer. It feels like you're out of the house a lot. I also see you guys being able to exercise right outside of your house. So maybe you're in a neighborhood that you jog or can walk around, or maybe you've got a park really close by. I see exercising, walking meditations, but not in a gym, okay? So you actually go outdoors to do it. And you just feel very busy and like you're out of the house often, except whenever you're kind of working or studying. It's like you've got activities and things going on. I don't see you bringing a lot of people to your space. So the house feels like it stays clean pretty easily on its own. Yeah, there's not like a lot of mess or chaotic energy going on at the house. And it's a good place for you to kind of be in your own thoughts. As far as like colors, I see like muted contrasting colors, or the colors that we kind of associate with hominess. So like sage green and rustic reds and warm yellows, and as well as those anchoring colors, those browns and those beiges, you know, the whites, like the neutrals that kind of anchor the colors in. I see like a really, really dark wood, either through the furniture or through the trim doors. And your front door specifically feels it's giving me like library or college campus vibes, you know. It's got like a nice light fixture pendant hanging down, or a really cool looking doorbell or door knocker, or, you know, something that makes it very inviting, kind of like the front of this initial card you guys chose. But so very, very cool. So this next home is going to really help get you out into the world or foster something within you in terms of your goals and like waking up for life and creating and self-expressing. And so I love that for you guys. Somewhere you can see all the seasons, got a nice outdoor view. Yeah, I think we've covered all of it. So I'm going to end it here, but I do want to hear your thoughts down below. What do you think about the space that I described? Does this align with kind of what you were hoping for your future home and living situation? Let me know in the comments down below. But until next time, until next week's reading, I will leave you here. Love you guys. Hey group 5, welcome to your reading. Let's take a look at what your future living situation looks like, what sort of home or space you'll be in and the circumstances surrounding that. So first, let's take a closer look at the card top, or the doorway you all gravitated towards. It's got this beautiful stonework around it and this bright cobalt blue, so I love that. On the back it says, "Secret sketches. Wander and seek the familiar and friendly kind. Draw memories and sketches for others to find." Interesting. So for some of you, this could be about actually building your dream home from the ground up, sketching out the design, working with an architect, and like designing a home or renovating a home through these sort of different sketches for the layout and changes that you want to make. For others of you, this feels connected to a spirit that's actually saying that there's a home that you'd sketched out or dreamed up when you were a lot younger, that if you were actually able to dig up that drawing, it would align very much with this next house. Like it might kind of freak you out. You know, maybe it's confirmation of your psychic senses from a younger age, but kind of a vague card. So let's get into the die and the tarot and expand on that message. Like tap into the energy of the house and what it looks like. Okay, we have Pluto in Cancer in the 5th house. So Pluto is about our inner power, our ability to transform, to die and be reborn again, to kind of be obliterated and then become that phoenix rising from the ashes. Cancer is about home, family, our home life. It's crazy because Cancer and the die, I think, has come up in all but one pile at this point. I think they've all been Cancer. And we had one Capricorn, which is the opposite of Cancer. So it's still connected. So that's crazy. The 5th house is about our self-expression, our playtime, our fun time, our inner child. So I'm getting a lot of creative vibes from this pile. It feels like your next home is going to be a really creative space where you're going to be able to self-express and bring out your inner child in a way that you didn't get to when you were younger. Like some of you are literally going to paint a mural on your walls. I see a lot of like maybe your own personal artwork coming up, or creating this sort of dreamy space, you know, with interesting, like, have you ever seen like the beaded curtains that you can like walk through in different doorways? It's kind of like a hippie sort of vibe. Or dream catchers and, you know, things hanging down from the ceiling, and wind chimes and tapestries. And I'm almost getting this very sort of free aesthetic, like an artistic, creative, very free, bohemian or hippie-like sort of vibe, you know, lots of candles and different colors, and not being so focused on, well, but does everything match perfectly? Because I feel like that's something you experienced when you were younger, like you didn't get to have the bedroom that you wanted, because your parents were the type that really wanted, like if they went and got furniture for a room, they would get a furniture set because they wanted everything to match just so and just perfectly. And so this almost feels like this rebellious inner child coming out in you that's like, okay, but what about if I just buy what I want to buy because I like it? And what if I just put my own artwork, my own creations up? And it feels very whimsical and very eclectic, okay, this space does. Which is funny because it contrasts with the door. This door feels very kind of cold and sturdy and traditional in a lot of ways, which is like what you came from, it feels like. So let's take a look at the tarot. All right, we have the Tower card. This connects well with that Pluto energy. We have the World. This is Saturn energy. the Six of Wands. We have the Star card and the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, another message I got is that for some of you, this sort of stuffiness and restrictiveness in terms of your home and its decor actually came from a partner, someone you were living with that liked things just so in just a certain way. And so in this house, it feels like you're going against all of that. And you're like, nope, it's my time to do what I want with my home. And so this is how I'm going to do it. So a lot of rebelliousness, okay, in this next living situation and home space that you're in. You are basically wanting to be able to do all the things that you never got a chance to do before in your home space and kind of go against the grain and go against the rules a little bit. Maybe hang things on the wall in a way that's, not deemed by the experts as ideal. I want to hang this one low and then this one high, and kind of doing like some quirky things. And, but I like it. It looks lived in and it looks very eclectic and not too put together, so I like that vibe. Now with the Tower, gosh, we've got 3 major arcana here, you guys. We've got the Star, the World, the Tower. The Tower moment is about something being exploded in your life. Things being taken away all of a sudden, and you just feeling like, man, what the heck has happened? How do I rebuild from here? Where do I go from here? So for a lot of you, you are going to be coming from some sort of shocking situation. Or if it's not a shocking situation, it could be internal, where it's a shocking sort of revelation about yourself, of like, specifically with all the rule following, or it's you reach a breaking point and you're like, I'm really tired of following all the rules. And I want to live somewhere where I'm not going to follow all the rules and I'm going to do things the way I want to. And even in terms of where you're living, for some of you, you actually, this next space, this next home is going to be in a neighborhood that maybe most people would say, well, no, that's not a good neighborhood to live in. Or maybe it's dangerous, to some people, or it's ugly, or it's got, uglier homes, or kind of like an up and coming sort of community. And you're going to be like, well, but I don't care. Like, I want to be here with the rebels, with the artists, with the creatives. And I even see the outside of your house having some sort of bright color, whether it's that you paint the whole house a bright color, or if you've got a really bright color, unique door, okay, that's not a conventional sort of color for a doorway. And you've got lots of, for some of you, I'm seeing like garden gnomes, like a little garden gnomes out by the front porch or front door area, something very quirky. And it also feels like you like to take things that others would deem as ugly or outdated and make it cool again in the way that you use it, okay? So for some of you, there's like some really bright, maybe some people would say tacky, like animal print that you're using, or what else like seems kind of like tacky, not gaudy, okay? Because I'm not getting that vibe, but yeah, things that people would say, well, no, this is going to bring down the value of the house or the decor if you do that. And you're like, I don't care. And you make it work, actually. I really like it. It's really cute. Like for some of you, there could be like little pink flamingos, out in the front yard with everything. Again, this is like a really broad pile because all of you guys are unique in your own way, but that's kind of what you bring out, is this sort of screw the rules. I'm doing everything in a way that people say not to do. And it comes from this revelation of, I've followed the rules way too long. It's time for me to get out of that mode and get back to my own inner child. Because children don't think about things like that. Children, if you have a child get dressed, they're not going to pick out stuff that matches. If you told a child to decorate their own bedroom, they're also not going to pick out stuff that matches. Their outfit is they're probably going to pick out their favorite shirt, and maybe it's bright red, and then they're going to pick out their favorite pair of pants, and maybe they're pink and green with polka dots, and then they're going to pick out their favorite shoes, which are maybe bright purple. It's like their outfit's going to be constructed of all their individual favorite pieces. And it's not going to match, but a lot of times they end up looking so cute and so them that there's just something that works with it, right? That is going to be your home. Okay, so I see you also feeling a deep sense of freedom in both of these cards, the Star and the World, in regards to your next home. Feeling like, I'm free to like do and be what I want. For some of you, you're moving out of like an apartment situation, for example, into your first home, Where an apartment, you have to follow certain rules. You can't paint cabinetry. You can't, there's certain things you're restricted from doing. So it's like you're in a home for the first time and you get to do whatever the hell you want with it. For others of you, you're in a home, but it's a home with a really strict HOA, you know, that determines how the outside of your house can look and what you can do with it. So you're getting out of that situation and moving to some sort of neighborhood that doesn't have an HOA. Or maybe you guys are moving from a renting situation in general to a buying situation. When you're renting, you can't change whatever you want. You've got to okay it with the landlord. When you buy, it's yours. You do whatever the heck you want. And then for others of you, it's like you are with roommates or a partner, people that need to have a say, or you're living with parents, and now it's like you're on your own. So it'll be a little bit different for each and every one of you. But I do see with the Ace of Pentacles that some of you will be creating something from home that you are selling there in that space, like shipping off and selling, like maybe on Etsy, or tutoring or offering classes online. But your income, I see your income increasing with this home. Maybe you're an artist, you're giving art classes or creating your art from there. Somehow your income and your foundation increases. And I also see with the World card that you are feeling a sense of accomplishment in this home, especially when you look back and see like what you've created from it. The home feels fun, okay? It feels whimsical, and you feel the same way in it. So you feel very connected to this fifth house energy that came up on the die, to your inner child. Now, the only thing I will say is the Star card is in reverse, okay? So the Tower moment comes right before the Star card, which is, you know, supposed to be upright ideally. This sort of shock to the system, like Pluto talks about here, death, transformation, some sort of ending, okay, that's shocking to the system. But then because of that ending, you are now purified, you are naked, you are vulnerable. That big, ugly building is now all of a sudden not blocking your view, and you can see your North Star, your purpose, what you're supposed to head towards, okay? I do see that for a while in this next home space, that you're going to feel free in a sense, yes, and accomplished in a lot of ways, but your sense of purpose is still going to feel out of view. You're going to feel in a lot of ways that really this next home is supposed to be a place for you to heal, okay, and connect to your inner child. So don't cling so hard to trying to see, okay, but what's my ultimate purpose? What's the purpose in all of this? What's my meaning in life, okay? Because that's going to ruin the fact that this home really is supposed to be a place where you can heal and transform and renew yourself from your past, all right? That takes time to clear out. It doesn't happen instantly. All right, this Star card will turn up right for you. Don't worry about that. Don't get ahead of yourself. Try and enjoy the journey instead of just focusing on the destination, okay? So I do feel that in this home, you will feel a bit lost or kind of out of your elements, kind of like, I don't even know if I know what I'm doing half the time. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, where am I supposed to be heading? Don't focus so much on that right now. Let this house be a place where you can just heal and reestablish a good foundation. Don't look too far in the future, okay? All right, let's look at some of the oracle cards. You had this stone come out for you, which is this lovely, like, pinkish color, salmon color. This is topaz. Who needs it? Anyone burning either A, the midnight oil, B, the candle at both ends, C, bridges, or D, all of the above. When to use it? When you're aiming in the right direction, but keep misfiring. Like this. Passion is totally indispensable, but if you're not careful with it, it might burn you up. Call on topaz to transform wild obsessions into laser-like focus and burning desires into getting things done. It says at the bottom, increase your firepower. Very cool. So yeah, just don't stretch yourself too thin, okay? This is a house that's supposed to be about healing and creativity, okay? So focus on healing this before you can focus on trying to figure out where your North Star is. All right, so deal with that stuff first. Get all this rebellious energy out of you first, so that way you can come into focus. Your life can come into focus after that point. Okay, this card is a third eye chakra card, and it says destiny. Goes very well with the star. Follow your instincts. They lead to the truth. And we'll get into the meanings after I show you what all the cards are. We have growth. We have the tiger. Maybe you'll have some tiger print in your home. You're being called upon to provide leadership, so trust that you're capable of doing so. We have the curiosity card. Meeting new people. I remember what a treasure trove of opinions, interests, and stories they are. But these treasures will only be unlocked if I embrace my curiosity. So I'll be curious and you be interesting. Deal? And then we have Moon in Virgo. Oh. Issues surrounding health and exercise may come to the fore. Focus on your physical well-being. And this also has to do with being a little too self-critical and your self-worth. Okay, so destiny, follow your instincts. Your third eye chakra, again, that's kind of where we get a lot of our psychic energy, our foresight, being able to see into the future. It feels strong with you all. But even people with a really strong third eye chakra can be blocked and clouded at times because there's things that have to be healed and dealt with. This next home will be about a period of growth for you, being able to replant yourself in new soil and get the right nutrients that you need in order to foster that growth. So this will be a home that it feels like it's going to be very easy for you in this home to self-sabotage, okay? Because I don't see a lot of oversight, and it feels like you're used to that. You're used to someone having a lot of oversight with you, whether that be parents or a partner or roommates. And in this house, it feels like you're kind of free to choose what you want to eat, when you want to go to bed, like all these sort of like basic things, and you're going to have to keep yourself accountable. That's what this Tiger card is about. This is about developing leadership within yourself, to lead yourself, to parent yourself, to be in charge of yourself. And that's a discipline that takes a while to learn. It's like a muscle, that needs practice, okay? So Spirit's wanting you to keep that in mind. If you can keep that in mind and focus on that, then your instincts and your destiny will lead you to the truth, to your ultimate star. But it's like before that can be revealed, Spirit needs to see that you can lead yourself responsibly, be disciplined and dutiful, show and practice self-love towards yourself through your schedule, your routine, your eating habits, your exercise habits, the way you talk to yourself. Are you drinking enough water? Like a lot of these basic things that we take for granted or write off as like mundane and not important, and we just want to pour ourselves into spirituality and tarot and art, but these things are important. And you do have this rebellious energy pent up inside of you due to some of your past experiences, but make sure that you're channeling that rebellious energy in a healthy way and not in a self-sabotaging way, okay? With the curiosity card, I do feel that you will have neighbors, that you become friends with or acquainted with or interact with. And so that will be nice. But there will be this, you are going to have to deal in this new home with a sense of like, wow, I'm on my own in a lot of ways. Okay. So you're going to vacillate back and forth between this total high of feeling free to be who and what you want and who cares. And then this feeling of, I've got to protect my own self. Like I'm out here on my own. I've got to set my rules. I've got to make sure I follow them. So this fragility, okay, between the two. But this next home will be very eclectic, very much ruled by your inner child, okay? So keep an eye on him or her. Don't let him or her destroy everything, all right? But I see a lot of beautiful self-expression, solitude, art, creativity. It feels like a relaxed home that's very much you, okay? And I love that for you. So, and again, like a very bohemian or artistic sort of vibe to the whole space, all right? And that front door, an interesting color for the front door for sure, somehow in the way that you decorate it and such, all right? Okay, I'm going to leave you guys here, but I want to thank you so much for coming and letting me provide this reading for you, and I look forward to seeing you in next week's Pick a Card reading. All right, bye, my love.